There's a piece of advice you might have heard 1,000 times. You see therapists say it, HR managers, human resource managers, they say it, your friends say it, even your parents say it. They tell you, hey, if you have a problem with someone, you just need to set boundaries and communicate your feelings. Well, if you're dealing with a rational person, hey, that is great advice. But if you're dealing with a narcissist, a bully, or a high conflict personality, I'm gonna tell you, that is the absolute worst thing you can do. Why? Well, because you see, a toxic person doesn't want your boundaries, and they certainly don't care about your feelings, okay? They want your reaction. You see, to them, your anger, your tears, and your frustration, it's fuel. And every time you try to communicate, you're just filling up their tank for free. So how do you win a war against someone who feeds on conflict? Well, I'm gonna tell you, you don't fight back, and you certainly don't run away. You become the most boring object in the room. You become a gray rock, or whatever color rock you like, but gray is pretty boring. Hi, I'm Alan Stafford, and welcome to Think Sharper. Today, I'm going to teach you the psychological defense system that will save your sanity this holiday season, or any time. All right, to execute this strategy, you have to understand what we call the supply chain. See, high conflict personalities, whether it's your uncle at Christmas dinner or a toxic boss or a toxic friend, are essentially emotional addicts. They're looking for a hit of dopamine. In psychology, we call this the narcissistic supply. See, they get that supply when they provoke a reaction out of you. And most of us, well, we make the mistake of using what's called the J.A.D.E technique. We justify, we argue, we defend, and we explain. We think, hey, if I just explain my point of view clearly enough, hey, they're going to understand, right? My friend, no, they won't. See, when you jade all over yourself, you're basically handing them the addiction on a silver platter. You're signaling that what they think matters to you, and that gives them, well, power. See, the gray rock method cuts off that supply. The goal is to make yourself so incredibly uninteresting that they lose interest and move on to a brighter, shinier target. So, and here's what it looks like in actual practice.
Completely incompetent. I expected this report yesterday. Do you understand the gravity of the situation?
Okay.
I'm serious. This can't happen again.
I see.
See, your voice becomes monotone. Your answers become one word. Okay, I see. And you make zero eye contact. And most importantly here, you exhibit zero emotional leakage. No sighing, no eye rolling, no grimacing. You are as stimulating as a rock in a driveway, hence the gray rock. Now, I have a warning for you on this here, and this is the critical thinking part. See, when you start doing this, it's not going to work immediately. In other words, in fact, for a short time, things are actually going to get worse. This is a concept known as the Extinction Burst. Think of a vending machine, okay? You put your money in and you press the button and you get your soda or your chips or whatever it is you decided you wanted to buy. See, that is the pattern the toxic person is basically used to. They push your buttons and then they get a reaction. But what happens when you press the button and nothing comes out? Well, you don't just walk away, right? You press it again, you mash it. You might even shake the machine and punch it. That is the extinction burst. See, when you go gray rock, the toxic person's brain panics. They aren't getting their dopamine hit, so they're going to ramp up. They're going to ramp up their aggression. What they'll do is they'll say the meanest, most personal thing they can think of to get that old reaction back. And you, my friend, you must hold the line. See, if you stay silent for 10 minutes but then finally explode, you have just taught them a very dangerous lesson. You've taught them, hey, I just have to yell louder, longer to get what I want. And in psychology, that's called intermittent reinforcement. And basically, it creates the strongest addiction possible. So don't teach them that lesson. So let's look at the practical next step. The holidays are coming up. You're going to be at a table with someone who wants to bait you. I want you to memorize 3 phrases, and these are basically your shields against, or your defense. When they say something political, offensive, or critical of your life, you do not argue. You use one of these statements. Ah, that's an interesting opinion. And you say it with zero sarcasm. Or, I'll have to think about that. This shuts down the demand for an immediate answer. And phrase 3, the ultimate silencer. Hey, you might be right. See, by saying you might be right, That's powerful. So you aren't necessarily agreeing with them. You're saying it's possible in an infinite universe somewhere that they're right. But to them, it destroys the conflict loop. And there's nothing left to push against at that point. All right, and the gray rock method is basically a triage tool. See, it stops the bleeding in that moment. But if you're dealing with someone who constantly drains your energy or spreads rumors behind your back, you need a long-term strategy. So I have a video on how to stop toxic talk in its tracks. It breaks down basically how to pivot negative conversations into solutions. And that's the video you should watch next right here on my channel. And if that family member is using intellectual tricks like straw manning or logical fallacies to trap you, check out my guide on bad faith arguments. Hey, don't let them rent space in your head this December or ever. Think sharper, my friend, and I'll see you in the next video.